2014, and the time is approximately 9:45. I'm Ms. Wallace, the Land Bank Coordinator, and I will be calling to order the East Cleveland Land Bank Neighborhood Advisory Committee meeting. We have 4 out of 4 of the NAC members here, so we do have a quorum. I will call the roll and then the docket. We have Travell Hart.
Here.
We have Hank Smith.
Here.
James Pope.
Here.
Lionel Lewis.
Here.
And the first docket number is docket 10, 2014. We have Mary Ann Freeman, the applicant. She is here in reference to 14804 Ardnall. The parcel number is 671-11073. The applicant is requesting to purchase a residential vacant lot under the neighbor next door ordinance for yard expansion. The lot size is 3,655 square feet. Ms. Freeman, if you'll state your name for the record.
Mary Ann Freeman.
Can I get a copy of the document with the addresses on it and the lot numbers?
I'll have to make one.
Yeah. Do you want to just explain what you're doing?
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Would you like to explain what you like to do with it?
Okay, my purpose of trying to purchase the lot next door is that I'm now a resident of Warrensville, and I try to keep the property up. It is an eyesore next door. No one keeps it nice. My house, I try to keep my property looking good. This side of Ardnall is absolutely gorgeous. It's filled with trash. The grass is going up to the waist sometimes, and it needs work. So I like to keep my yard looking good and where I live looking nice. So I'm interested in purchasing it to expand it and make it attractive and become to the neighborhood, because the side of the street that we live on is absolutely beautiful. And I want it for that purpose, to make sure that it, in fact, where I live, I have a big lot. And I keep it nice, and I want our community. East Cleveland still is ongoing. I have my grandkids, they attend East Cleveland Public Schools. I lived there for several years, so I would like to maintain it and make it look like a community as opposed to like that.
This is right next to your house?
It is right next to it.
Okay, and it qualifies for the neighbor next door?
Yes.
Okay. Any discussion?
Anytime that someone wants to improve their property and they live right next door, I think it's not what they think.
Okay. Call for the vote?
Yes.
Just one other question.
Did I understand that you are a current resident there now as an
I am
occupant
not.
or a owner of the property? It's
I
a
am
rental
a
property.
It's rental.
I have no objection.
Any other discussion?
Look at the street and the neighborhood. There's no other better use of this plan than a block. Absolutely. Move forward with that.
Okay. And just to add, every year, I'm sure the city spends so much money to maintain vacant and abandoned properties. And it's just commendable that you come in and actually let them take the responsibility of actually paying taxes and cutting grass and that kind of stuff. So I think it's a win-win for the city. So we can call for the vote.
Now, I have a question.
What's up?
What is the difference between people that are purchasing the lot or when they tear down the house? That's been a vacant lot for years. So what is there a difference in if you tear it down or if it's just vacant? Because I noticed the man on the opposite side of me, they put those stakes, big heavy stakes into the line, and I wonder why.
They put those there because unfortunately in East Cleveland, when lots are left vacant for a long time, people think it's a dumping site. So they try to back up and illegal dumping there. And so that's one thing. I think the chief of staff wants to say something.
Chairman, if you please. The difference is most recent demolitions in the specs, you have to put the stakes in. Demolitions of the past, you really didn't have to put the stakes in. And then the second difference in demolitions are the demolitions that's owned by a public entity, which allows you to buy the lot, versus a demolition that's owned by a private individual, but the property was vacant and abandoned, and it was a public nuisance. So we tore it down, but you still, the private owner still has possession of that property. So those that a public entity has in its possession, either the city, the county, or the state, allows people to do the neighbor next door and acquire the lots. But if you see the stakes, those are fairly new over the last probably 10 years of changing the specs on demolitions, requiring them to put stakes in to prevent people from driving in on a lot, versus 15 years ago where you didn't have to do that.
I have my next question is, the sidewalks and these public sidewalks I consider, whose responsibility would be that for?
I refer to the chief of staff.
Repair of the sidewalks, because they are cracked and they look like they've had a truck or something, riding on
If
them.
it's as a result of a demolition, the demolition company is required to repair the sidewalk.
I'm not speaking of demolition, I'm speaking of the property that's been vacant next door. It's been vacant for years.
Right.
But the sidewalk they're all broken.
The property owner.
Okay. So that, in other words, if I get it, that would be my responsibility.
Yes. Will you be required to do it? No. It's not a requirement to purchase the lot next to you to maintain the sidewalk. I mean, there's no requirement that says that you must repair all sidewalk blocks in front of your property. But if you were to get the lot and you maintain the lot, then the city will work with you to repair the sidewalk.
Any other questions? Call for the vote.
We have Terrell Hart,
Yeah.
Hank Smith,
Yeah.
James Pope,
Yes.
and Lionel Lewis.
Yes.
Been approved. Great, sir. It's good to see you. Ms. Freeman, you'll be here to the next step.
All right, thank you. Am I allowed to leave?
Yes.
You can stay if you like.
Okay. Can I stay? I would like to get some
Absolutely,
other
you can stay if you
information,
like.
because I
It's a
wanna
public
know
meeting.
What's other people are interested in. Do you want me to move out to?
No, you're fine. Everybody's good.
All right, so next thing we have on the docket is,
Next on the docket, we have docket number 11, 2014, which is the Word Church. This is in reference to property 1509 Holyoke. The parcel is 671-08062. In reference to 1338-1304 First, those parcels are 671-08, 002, 003, 004, and 005. We also have the 772 Hayden. That parcel is 671-08007. We also have 1766 Hayden, and that parcel is 671-08065. And I believe we have a representative here from the Word Church. You can state your name for the record.
Yes, Larice Burnell. And I have Elder Larry Craig with me as well.
can you go ahead and I guess tell the committee as far as like what's our plans for the.
Yes, the Word Churches at this point were requesting the 6 parcels that you see on the docket to utilize as we look to acquire a building off of 133rd, as the parcel will be utilized for parking for that facility because the existing facility does not have appropriate parking, so that's what we're looking to acquire those particular parcels for.
What is the facility that you're building?
1766 East 133rd.
Oh, can you talk about the use for that facility?
Okay, the use for that facility would be for worship services, where we would hold our regular weekly worship services that we currently have on Wednesdays and we offer on Sundays, as well as we would utilize it for outreach initiatives here in the community, so to feed the community, to hold GED courses, job partnership things that we do at the other locations we have throughout the city.
As I understand, the 1766 East 133rd, is that the primary structure of the church?
Absolutely.
Or a outreach center?
Yes, absolutely.
What size church or what's the capacity of membership that will hold? Or
At this point, we have not had a architectural drawings to really establish what that would be. We just know the size of the particular property. But we would be looking from anywhere, I would say, about 5 to about 750 members that on a weekly basis for that particular location. So like I said, with our full architectural drawings, we haven't had it appropriately laid out to see what that capacity would be.
So the other parcel that you're looking at is for parking for that facility?
Absolutely.
Have you guys acquired the building yet?
No, we're working through that process. And I guess one thing I would ask that what we're going to do is we're going to amend the request that we currently have to go back and have the parcels properly appraised. And once we have those appraised, then we would ask that at that point we could come back and then tell what the value is and talk about the purchase at that point. So
you would drop from the table now?
absolutely.
Maybe we want to make it clear for the record that this is not a neighbor next door type transaction.
No.
Okay.
I mean, I kind of view, because I've seen the Word Church operate within communities. We've done for a while now, and they operate out of Shaw High School, and they have members that are East Cleveland residents that go over hundreds of members and that kind of stuff. And so it's really good to see that they're thinking about investing in edifice here in the city. Mike, did you have something to say?
To Mr. Pope's point, the difference between neighbor next door and non-neighbor next door is they have to have an appraisal done. Mr. Purnell is saying that they're going to do an appraisal and then offer the appraised value for the lots that we own that are outlined in the docket. So instead of a donation process, asking for a donation, they're looking to purchase the property based on the land bank processes, which is an appraisal because it's not neighbor next door, and then offering the appraised value.
So would we be able to move on, I guess, changing our recommendation to council so that the process can be expedited to recommend that we approve the sale of these parcels at the appraised value?
The best, cleanest way to do it is to have a special meeting outside the normal schedule after the appraisal is done, and the appraisal can likely be done by the end of, we're gonna see if it can get done by the end of this week. And if you can come back next week and make a recommendation, then that's a clean process where there is no amended recommendations to amend the amended recommendation. So it'd be clean if you just simply have a special meeting after the appraisal is done.
All right, so we accept the motion. We need discussion first of all. No. So we accept the motion to table this to after the appraisal.
Right.
So
I make a motion that we accept that we table this.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right.
I'll call the roll. Hank Smith,
Aye.
James Pope,
Yes.
Lionel Lewis,
Absolutely.
and Treville Hart.
Yes.
Okay, no problem. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next on the docket, we have docket number 12, 2014. We have Kenneth Smith, who is the applicant, is requesting 3 parcels of land for yard expansion. Those addresses are 1760 Elberon, which is 672-07071. 1764 Elberon, that parcel is 672-07072. And we have parcel 1768 Elberon, which is parcel 672-07073. All 3 parcels have been appraised at $300 each. Mr. Smith, if you want to join us at the table and state your name for the record, please.
Yes, my name is Kenneth Smith, and I'm trying to acquire these properties. If I was lucky, they would get cut once a year. There's been trees cut down on this property. I called city various times. They were supposed to call Illuminating Company. They called the outside contractor to cut these trees. They never got them up. They've been down there for at least 8 years. So now the grass, the weeds, everything's grown over. It's right. These properties are right behind my house. I refuse to cut the weeds because it'll be fresh access to my house. So if I can keep that whole lot clean, it'll look nice. Like I say, it's been cut twice this year. I've been complaining, my neighbor's been complaining, And plus, one of my opposite neighbors dumped his dumpings over the fence into these properties. If I can acquire them, I'll stop that. And it's bad. It really is. I wanted to take some pictures, but
I have a few here on the table, if you guys want to pass them.
This is your house?
Yes.
You're talking
Correct.
about these.
those three right behind.
Is there any discussion? So your intent is just to keep it cut?
Keep it cut, and maybe later on, maybe build a garage to expand my property. But first thing is to keep it clean first. Get those trees out the way. It's bad. I mean, it's an eyesore. First thing is to clean it up, and maybe later come back to the city for expanding my garage or fencing it off so nobody can dump back there. Things like that.
Has the property been appraised?
Yes.
Yeah.
300 for all
For
three?
each lot.
Three, oh, okay, I see. 300 a piece or
300 each.
Each, $1,200.
$900. 3 lots.
3 lots.
And that price is pending cleanup. I don't know if the city's responsible for cleaning it up first before I get it.
No.
Or not. If I gotta clean it up, we have to talk prices then. Because it's gonna be a lot to clean them up.
Go ahead.
Our ordinances only allow us to, in normal circumstances, to charge the minimum of the appraised value. And that's in line with Ohio Revised Code. So we could not charge you less, irrespective of what's on the property, than what the law allows us to do.
So meaning $300 a lot.
Meaning
I mean,
$300
that's-
a lot.
that's the
Now,
minimum.
personally, I agree with you. I think it's worth less than that.
Yes.
You know, I think because of the type of work that you're gonna put in it costs us probably about $1,000 a year to maintain it, right? So, but the law is the law.
Is this the back of your house right here?
No, that's the neighbor's house.
That's the neighbor.
But if you get them, I will make sure our service department work with you, because you having it is more important than, you know, the service department doing a little overtime to clean it up.
And the main thing is probably, like I say, the tree was fell and everything grew over it.
Right.
That's the main one. And all the dumpings behind one of the lots.
Right.
Probably a dump truckload in the backhoe would probably do that.
I'm sure we can work it out. I'm sure we can work it out. Our service department the city will help you.
Okay.
We will not leave you stranded, especially because, you know, you maintaining the lot is more important than, you know, a few hours of overtime on the service department.
Is there any discussion about it? Call for a motion.
Move that.
Go ahead.
Move that, we move forward. Selling the lots then the appraised price.
Is there a second?
I second.
I have one other question. Before we get down the road too far, does the ordinance disqualify on the neighbor next door?
No.
No.
That's why you had to have the appraisal.
Okay.
Neighbor next door, just so everyone knows, if you don't mind, Chairman, is the lot has to be adjacent, has to be next, either on the left of you or the right of you. It can't be behind you or in front of you. So it has to be left or right of you, and it has to be 40 by 40. We have a piece of legislation that's coming before you guys, before council, and it's going to contract and property, because that 40 by 40 prevents a lot of these lots from being purchased through neighbor next door. So we're expanding it so that there is no maximum lot size, so that a person who lives adjacent to a property, that property, regardless of the size of it, will qualify under neighbor next door, which then allows people to not have to spend $350 for a lot next door to them because it's 5 feet bigger than what the ordinance allows.
Point of clarification. If the applicant is already in, does that go retroactive back once the ordinance is passed?
Absolutely.
Or is it already in?
Absolutely, it'll be retroactive. It'll be, we would, once the mayor signs it, it goes into law in 7 days, right? So that law supersedes any actions that have not been taken but are in process.
So if it's in process and money has been exchanged, then
Absolutely. Once the sale is final, once the sale has been made, then the sale is the sale. It's not retroactive that will lead to any refunds. But if you have an application pending, and before you get your appraisal done, and that law is enacted, you don't have to get the appraisal on that application that was in prior to the law going into effect.
And Mr. Smith's case, though, it wouldn't apply to him because it's behind his house anyway.
It does not apply to him because it's behind his house.
Well, it wouldn't, would it apply, well, this is the case where this is in the land bank. You're referring to
Land bank.
land bank?
Just land bank.
Land bank
Land bank.
properties.
Okay.
This is neighbor next door. Neighbor next door. So neighbor next door refers to properties that are adjacent to you that the city owns in its land bank.
Well, I thought you brought up the point about the minimum 40 foot to 40.
Right. The ordinance says that it has to be 40 by 40. It has to be a non-buildable lot, right? That was the purpose. It was a good piece of legislation, but it was not forward thinking. Right? On certain streets, you're not going to have, no one's going to build a house on certain streets in East Cleveland, but it's larger than 40 by 40, which then precludes that lot from being purchased through the neighbor next door process. But it's a perfect candidate for neighbor next door because no one is going to build a house, the grass is overgrown, or that person has been maintaining that lot for the last 5 years. So it should qualify. So this new amendment to the neighbor next door, to the land bank ordinance, it takes out the 40 by 40. So it allows you to purchase the property next door to you, irrespective of size.
Okay.
Okay. You want to call for the motion again? Call for the motion again.
I move that we move forward with the purchase of the Elmore property by Mr. Kenneth Smith at the appraised value.
Is there a second?
A second.
Call for the vote.
We have a motion on the table, call for the vote after Bill Hart,
Yes.
Hank Smith,
Yes.
James Pope,
Yes.
and Lionel Lewis.
Yes.
Smith, I'll be in contact with you, and I'll send you that stuff.